reconstructive surgery. It has been such a long road for her to come back to this point right now.
So the story about Abby in the heats, she just went out on her own. Here we go, women's 5,000 meter final. Abby went out on her own and made the Olympic standard qualifying time in the most gutsy performance. It was incredible.
It really was a magical moment so far in these trials. You know, it took us a while to catch on, but when we did, we were along for the ride, and it was really impressive what a gritty run she ran in that prelim. And so, Lee, we see right now, everyone's already just pumping on the brakes. As we've talked about, the heat will be a factor in this race. It's so hot down on the track, over 100 degrees. And in the 5,000, that heat, it just builds on your body, and it just gets worse and worse as time goes by. So everyone doesn't want to have to go to the well early on. They want to keep composed, stay out of that hot pace, which might get them into trouble. And so that's why we see this big bunch right here.
23-year-old Taylor Werner, who is a multi-time All-American at Arkansas. She sets the pace early on.
You know, she just joined a group in North Carolina in Chapel Hill, coached by Alistair Craig and Amy Craig, Olympian for the United States. So she's in a new group there and looks to be adapting quite well.
There's Ashley Cooper on the left side of your screen, running just right beside Carissa Schweitzer there, around about 6th, 7th position early on.
And we should also mention that the Olympic champion of the triathlon is in this race right now.
Gwen Jorgensen, she has the sunglasses on with the white strip at the top. She's just about to go through shot. There's Gwen in the white top, red bottoms. Really gutsy performance in her heat as well. She qualified on time to make this 5,000 meter final. Gold medalist in Rio in the triathlon. So while we're up and running here in the women's 5,000 meter final, plenty of action in the field as well.
Taylor, the Olympic champion, out with an injury right now, and will now go to jumping in round 5. Lee?
Keep an eye on that, Paul. Werner continues to lead over Rachel Schneider.
Yeah, they're not running crazy slow or anything. They just came through the K in 3:05, which would be 15:25 pace. So I'm impressed that they're running that pace when it's so hot. You know, we see a lot of the favorites sort of sitting back. I mean, we see Rachel Schneider, who is definitely one of the favorites. She's run 14:52 this year. She's gone after the lead there, but we see a lot of Carissa Schweitzer, and we see Elise Cranny, we see Josette Norris a little bit further back, waiting this out. We also see Ellie Hennis, the recently crowned NCAA champion in the 5,000, who ran like such a professional in that prelim. So right now, this is anyone's game.
Just updating you on men's triple jump. Will Clay remains in 2nd, by the way. Need to bring up an interesting topic, Cara, which has been on everybody's minds and a lot of people talking about it. And I say this because we see Rachel Schneider sitting in 2nd. She's one of the athletes who has switched from a particular sponsor and company that she was with for a long time to an opposing and a rival company based on shoes and spikes and shoe technology. This is right throughout all of the field, particularly in endurance running. This topic popped up at the Olympic marathon trials in Atlanta in February of 2020, and that topic continues right through to here. Why is it such a hot topic?
It's a hot topic because it's changed the structure. You know, we've seen national records and world records really in free fall due to the shoe technology. And I think, you know, once we got over the initial, what is happening? Why is everybody running so fast? At this point, most companies have shoes, not everyone, but some do. Like you said, Rachel Schneider had to switch sponsors so that she could get a pair of shoes that would put her on par with other people wearing these shoes as well. But you know what I'm excited about? I'm excited about just racing.
Yes, exactly. And we've seen some phenomenal racing. Carissa Schweitzer has got her way up into 3rd here with 9 laps to go. A little under 9 laps to go. Schneider still sits 2nd behind Werner.
We see Ali Buchalski there as well. She has run so well this year, running 14:57. You know, she had to see a psychologist because she was struggling with imposter syndrome. I think it's really interesting when people go from high school to college and then college to professional. Sometimes you kind of get lost and think, do I really belong here? And she was dealing with that and finally sought some help for it and worked through it. And what do you know? She ran a huge personal best in the 5,000.
Right beside Bukowski there, all in blue. That's Josette Norris. So she's sitting 5th at the moment, and right alongside her in the white and black Bowerman Track Club outfit. That's Elise Cranny, the 25-year-old from Colorado. Elise is one to watch in the closing stages of this race.
Absolutely. You know, you really can't take your eyes off of any of the Bowerman Track Club women. They train together. They know each other. That's Nessa Frazier right there. She's also run sub 15 minutes. She's coming back from 2 big Achilles surgeries, one on each leg, but she's been progressing week by week. And of course, we see Elise Cranny there, who leads the nation in the 10,000 meters. It's quite a crew. They train together, live together, are all really close, and it's pretty cool to see them in this final together. There's got to be a lot of comfort seeing each other out there.
Just for interest at home, you're sitting wherever you're watching around the country, you're thinking about maybe your best 5K. What's your normal 5K or what's your best 5K? The Olympic qualifying standard, for interest's sake, is 15 minutes, 10 seconds even. As Elise Cranny moves up another couple of positions, Cranny has just eased her way up into second over Rachel Schneider with 7 laps remaining here at Hayward Field. Live Olympic US track and field trials happening here at Hayward Field in Eugene, Oregon. 5 laps to go in the women's 5,000 meter final. The top 3 will be going to Tokyo. Time for a field update. Here's Paul.
Yeah, the stretched third currently on the team with a bit more than 1 round of jumping remaining. Lee?
Yeah, we're watching this race, and they are bunched. They are running slow. They're running 79 seconds a lap here, and I think this is going to be building. You know, Josette Norris got tripped up a little bit, and she decided to move out, stay out of trouble. I think what we're going to see, if we watch here, you can see she kind of got pinched on the rail there, almost pushed off, and after that she said, no, I'm not going to sit in the pack anymore, and she made her way out of the pack and got up to the front. You know, she'd rather run outside close to lane 2 and stay out of the trouble than stay back in that pack. And this is what's interesting. These women have so much speed. They run such fast 1,500 meters in, you know, they all have this incredible ability to run fast, and this is what I'm waiting for. We're going to see someone who just can't take it anymore. Right now they're all chomping at the bit. This feels uncomfortable for them to run this slow. And now with 4 laps to go, we see Elise Cranny go to the front.
Carrie Verdon is in the mix there as well, the teacher from Boulder, Colorado. So final 4 laps. Carissa Schweitzer, who Kara said keep an eye on right at the top of this broadcast. Hip number 8 there, runs second, ahead of Josette Norris. And then Rachel Schneider. But it's Cranny who leads.
Cranny looks so relaxed, and her coach Lane Flanagan told me she's had the most growth in the last year. The pandemic year helped her the most of anyone else on that team. She's had the biggest transformation. She's been running with confidence. She believes in herself. She was a high school star, struggled a little bit in college, and now she's just blooming. And we see she takes the lead here, and they seem to stretch out a little bit. So I'll be interested to see this next lap because they are not as bunched anymore, and they are definitely starting to pull that pace down.
Elise Cranny at the front, who represented Stanford University. She never, interestingly enough, she never won an NCAA title there, but since leaving has really established herself at the top.
Absolutely. She has responded well to the training, and she's believing in herself. She believes she deserves to be here. And this looks a little bit like team tactics, okay? So we saw Elise Cranny go and take a lap, and now we see Schweitzer go and take a lap.
Look who's come into the mix. Abby Cooper right there on the left, hip number 6. Cooper is the athlete we told you about in the heat that left the rest of the field behind right before she walked out on track. Her coach said it's going to be very hot on Monday. So if you get a chance to run the Olympic qualifying standard here in the heat, do it. If you feel it within yourself, do it. And she went out and did it. Now she's in the mix for a potential slot to Tokyo.
Things are starting to crank up here. Their last lap was a 71. I think we can count on every lap just getting hotter and hotter now as they go around. They only have a little over 2 laps to go, and I think we're going to see that intensity keep getting higher and higher and higher as they go here.
The 25-year-old from Iowa, Carissa Schweitzer, leads. She has a look at the big screen, like so many athletes do. She wants to know who is where behind her. It's Elise Cranny, Rachel Schneider, Abby Cooper, and then Josette Norris has kind of dropped Ali Bukowski a little, and then there's a gap back to the greater pack.
Josette Norris needs to get back on that pack. She has not been outkicked yet this year. This is where the move is happening. This is where the Olympic team is being made. She has got to claw her way back in there. Just like we saw in the men's 10,000, you don't know what can happen over that last 200 meters, but you have to be in the mix. They just ran a 70-second lap.
There are only 2 Olympians in this field, Gwen Jorgensen, who won the triathlon in Rio, and Abby Cooper. Abby Cooper is in the mix to go back to the Olympics. She's 4th at the moment.
This is an incredible race out of Abby Cooper. She's worked so hard to get back where she is. You know, the experience in Rio wasn't what she wanted. She wanted to go and compete and see how good she could be, and that was taken from her. She has shown so much grit and so much guts over the last 2 days, and now she is here hanging on 4 women, 3 spots.
Rachel Schneider in the orange top, who sits second. She said, I tried just to stay as relaxed as I could in my heat to guarantee my way to the final. How do you stay relaxed like this?
You just have to, and even right now, they need to conserve energy. You know, Rachel Schneider went up in miles this year. She took advantage of that pandemic year to do some strength training. She was typically a 1,500-meter runner, and she's embraced those longer distances. And I think we're going to see some fireworks on this last lap here.
2 of the top 4 look more relaxed than others. That's Carissa Schweitzer and Rachel Schneider. Cranny and Cooper look like they're working a little harder.
Lee, that was a 67 last lap. They are absolutely flying right now. All 4 of these women have the Olympic qualifier. This is going to be a war of attrition. Abby Cooper needs to get back up on that pack.
Can Cooper do it? It was a miraculous run in her heat. She's going to need to dig deep here up the back stretch on the final lap. Per Kara Goucher's recommendation, Schweitzer is the one to beat. Elise Cranny, Rachel Schneider.
Schweitzer is fighting for that finish line, but Elise Cranny has not given up, and we've seen Schneider kick so well all year.
None of these 3 women in the top 3 positions have ever represented Team USA at the Olympic Games before. They're en route now into the final stretch, and here comes Elise Cranny. Cranny is taking the fight to Carissa Schweitzer. She's going to win trials, but all 3 will go to Tokyo. Elise Cranny, the 25-year-old, wins here at trials. Schweitzer and Schneider are going to Tokyo.
What a race. Elise Cranny just ran so well. She closed in 63 seconds, and I have to tell you, her coach Elaine Flanagan told me they almost passed on her coming to the group, and they almost lost this incredible gem of an athlete. She runs her Olympic trials and wins it. This is an incredible race out of her. And also Rachel Schneider hanging in there so tough. And Carissa Schweitzer, who's dealt with that mental comeback of having to be the one, the top dog, gets the job done.
And look who is there ready to congratulate her competitors. Abby Cooper, who put in such a determined run in 4th, but couldn't quite get onto the back of that lead pack of 3. Run home. Carissa Schweitzer's keeping an eye on the big screen. Look at her eyes. But up the inside on the rail, here comes Elise Cranny.
You know, Elise just looks so relaxed. Look at her face. She's barely gritting, just a little grimace there. And Carissa Schweitzer knows she's there. She knows Cranny has that kick. And she actually moves out a little bit, and Cranny takes that space, and she goes all the way home looking so relaxed. She's never tying up. She's just pumping those arms and getting her way all the way through the finish line.
In 94-degree heat, Elise Cranny just ran a 15:27.81, 5,000 meters to be en route to